Before the Atlantic crossing, there was a system already operating on African soil. So in this episode, we're going to examine the enslavement of Africa, the methods of capture, and the conditions of the captives in the slave dungeons. Slavery in different forms existed in many parts of the world, including Africa, long before Europeans arrived. But it was not the same world that the world would later witness. In many African societies, servitude was often tied to war, debt, or social systems. In some cases, people could regain freedom or be absorbed into families. Then came European expansion along the West African coast. What changed was not just the presence of slavery, but its scope, its purpose, and its brutality. A new demand emerged. Millions of able-bodied men, women, and children needed for labor in the Americas. Human beings were no longer seen as members of societies, but as cargo. And with that demand, a system was reshaped into one of the most devastating human trades in history. How did people become slaves? Some were taken during wars between states and kingdoms. Others were seized in violent raid. Entire villages attacked at dawn. Many were kidnapped while traveling, farming, or trading. But here's where history is often misunderstood. You may have heard the claim, Africans sold their own people. That statement is incomplete, and without context, it distorts the truth. European traders created a demand so vast that it reshaped African societies. They supplied weapons, fueled conflict, and incentivized welfare that produced captives. Yes, some African leaders and groups became intermediaries within the system. But participation is not the same as creation. This was not a system built by Africa. It was a global machine driven by European economic interest. Conflicts were intensified, divisions were exploited, and human lives became currency. Captives were then forced into long march to the coast, bound together, exhausted, and starved. Many died along the way. For those who survived, the West was still ahead. Along the coast, captives were imprisoned in forts and castles, such as Cape Coast Castle and Elmina Castle. Inside the slave dungeons, conditions were inhumane. Hundreds were packed into dark, airless rooms, forced to sit, sleep, and suffer in the same confined space. There was no sanitation. Diseases spread rapidly, and the stench was overwhelming. Men and women were separated. Families were torn apart, often never to see each other again. Some captives remained there for weeks, even months, waiting, not knowing where they were going, only that they had lost everything behind them. And beyond those walls stood a final passage, the point of no return. But that journey is a story for the next episode. This is only part of the story. In our next episode, we're going to explore the model passage. And if you want to experience this history in real life, join us at Heritage Trial Tours on all our social media handles. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tracing Route TV. Peace out.